Peace to the planet. Welcome to Bishop Chronicles. As always, I'm your host, Adisa the Bishop. I am chilling. And I'm always talking about philosophy and jujitsu. And there are certain times and certain people when you come across them, you gotta have a deep conversation with them because you know that they know way more than you know, and they've seen some things you haven't seen. And so you are lucky to have Stan Kendrick on from Triune Jiu-Jitsu in Santa Clara, and he is a fixture in the Bay Area jiu-jitsu scene. Like he was really like those dudes that say they was around in the beginning. Like he can say that. You know what I'm saying? And so we always see each other. We've been cool for years, but I never really got his story. And I saw him. I think it was earlier this year, in like February or something. And I was like, you need to interview him. You know what I mean? So welcome and thank you for coming on Bishop Chronicles, Stan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you. It's an honor to be asked to do this.
Man, I'm juiced. I'm juiced. So, before we get all the way into jujitsu, as I started thinking about all the jujitsu questions I had for you, I hadn't really thought about just the human questions that I hadn't considered. Like, where are you originally from and how did you end up in the Bay?
Um, well, I'm originally from New Jersey, North
Okay.
Jersey, a little town called Passaic, industrial, concrete, with all the urban headaches that
Yeah.
a major city would have. They had it right there. I call it a good place to be from.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
like where I'm
cool.
at now, but that's where I'm from. My parents, they migrated out of the South, like a lot of people.
What part of the South were they from? Mine from Louisiana.
Oh, mines were from Georgia and South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Jersey. Um, did you do martial arts in Jersey as a kid? And tell me about like what was it like growing up in Jersey at that time?
Growing up in Jersey, it was a tough environment. I was a skinny little kid running around, trying to take care of himself. My first martial arts instructor was actually an uncle of mine who died in a plane crash not
Ooh,
before we actually got started. And
wow.
so I didn't train under him actually. And then I went on to study Shotokan at the age of about 12, 13 with a guy we called Red out of Passaic, New Jersey. Uh,
Okay.
I call him the blackest white man I know. And for anybody that knows Red, they're not going to
You know
argue.
why?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
hilarious.
Good hard style. It was good for me at a young age because it gave me some discipline.
Mm,
Can't say it's the best style that I ever trained under, but it was a good
right.
style and learned a lot there and it kept me out of trouble.
No, that's great, man. That's absolutely great.
Mhm.
And so how did you end up training and grappling period? Like I know you have a black belt in jiu-jitsu under Claudio França, but what other martial arts did you study before you found jiu-jitsu? And tell me how you found it.
Well, I had wrestled all through high school. I was a pretty good little wrestler.
Okay. Was
Uh,
it folk or freestyle, Greco-Roman?
uh, High school wrestling, collegiate wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I went on into the military where I wrestled freestyle
Yeah.
at
Okay.
Holder, Germany, and just loved wrestling. Knew wrestling was an effective martial art back then, even though it wasn't popular back then. We used to get
Right.
for wrestling. Um, and after wrestling in the military, I got out. I boxed a little bit for a couple years,
Mm.
and after boxing, weight training, went into bodybuilding actually for a hot second on a
No
bench.
wonder you're so yoked. When you talk about how skinny you were, I was like, when was he skinny?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I had a few years. I was obsessed with lifting weights and stuff, and got over that and went into Aki Jiu Jitsu, Aikido, and all that sort of stuff. And
and
uh,
what year was this happening?
this was in the 80s. This was in the
Okay.
80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And were
Things like
you in New Jersey at this time?
Oh no, no, I was already in California at this time. I left New Jersey young. I left New Jersey at 17.
Okay.
Yeah, so went straight in the military where I tell people I grew up. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the military for some people, maybe it ain't good for some people. It was great for me.
It's interesting. I think for most people it is. It's funny because like my father, he got drafted during Vietnam, but then he actually ended up getting stationed in Germany.
Yeah.
He didn't he did for black draft people at that time, if you were black and you got drafted, you were normally just on the front lines, you know what I mean? But
Exactly.
he had radio skills, so that allowed him to get out of the, being on the front lines, and he ended up in Germany. But all of his brothers also served in the army. Um, Ironically, all of his brothers lived through Vietnam, except the last one was about to get drafted and then the war ended. But all of them made it, and none of them, thankfully, had any really bad injuries, or you know what I mean, or none of them got killed. It's pretty crazy.
I
Um,
actually volunteered. It was Vietnam era. I'm leaving high school, not knowing what I want to really do with myself.
mhm.
Went in the military. My father had kind of dad where you had to do something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And so I went in the military, and it was good for me. It expanded my views of the world. That little bubble that I grew up in, I realized wasn't the whole world, and
Yeah.
different
No, that's
perspectives,
beautiful.
attitudes, and stuff. So I say it gave me a chance to go somewhere and grow up.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. So, how did you find yourself training with Claudio França?
Actually, I had kind of gotten tired of what I was doing. I'd gone down the road of Aki Jiu-Jitsu and Aikido, and I realized it was sort of a cult set up to where you couldn't really prove or challenge anything, or anybody that's been on an Aikido mat, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
A big strong guy is just wrong all the time. and
Period.
so I knew it was time for me to move on, and I was looking for something else to study in and train. And the Rickson Gracie had come to Watsonville, California, and he did a seminar. And so,
What year was this?
this was I want to say '89, maybe '90, right around
Okay.
there. Yeah, somewhere. Don't the dates.
Yeah,
You
yeah, 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 yeah,
But anyway, he came, and me and some friends went down. We had heard the rumors about this Gracie family
yeah,
and
yeah,
the system of jujitsu. It's kind of grappling and
yeah, yeah.
war, and Rickson had never been beat by anybody, and all of this. And I'm from that world. Show me.
Show me what's up.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. So we get to the seminar, and we don't even know what Rickson looks like, and
right.
we're looking around, and we're kind of sizing up people.
Yeah, who's that? Who's that?
What about that guy there? He looks kind of tough. Oh, that guy there kind of tough. And we hadn't even considered Rickson in the room in the way of this is the tough guy in the room, right?
Right.
And finally, Rickson says, "All right, guys, come on, let's get going. Let's start training." And he gets up, and we look and go, "Him?" And they go, "Yeah." I said, "That's not the guy I would have backed down on me." I said, "Wow, really?" And but by the end of that seminar, I was impressed.
Yeah,
Even with my wrestling background, I was impressed.
yeah,
First time I had ever been caught in a triangle, and
right.
it was Rickson. I thought I was doing good. I arm dragged him, got to his back. Next thing I know, I'm in his guard. Knowing I got to pass these legs, I put my arm under his leg, and that was it.
Oh, there it
Right.
is.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I walked
That
up to Matt, and my buddy asked me, and everybody at this seminar were already martial artists. These were
right.
not ranked beginners. And I asked my buddy asked me, he said, "Stan, what did he do?" And I said, "That's the problem. I don't know." I said, "All I know is I was going to sleep." And that was my first experience. And then
Wow.
after that, we were actively trying to pursue it. Caesar Gracie came into the area.
That's right.
And we tried to go out to the Pleasant Hill area every now and then, but it was a bit too far.
That's too far from Watsonville. That's like probably 2 hours each way or something, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, with traffic and stuff, it's
Yeah.
realistic. And then Joe Moriera set up a class in Scotts Valley
Did
at
he really?
at a Chris Smith school. Chris Smith,
Chris Smith, my boy is breaking
nice,
out
nice.
all the OG.
Yeah, see, I know everybody that was there, man.
Shout out to Chris Smith, bro.
Yeah, and Chris Smith set it up, and we all would, and Joe Moriarty would rotate people up here like James Boren. I don't know if you know James Boren, really good black belt out of Southern Cal, old school.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Don't
Yeah,
know him.
tough
Yes, I
guy,
know who you're
man.
talking about. Yes.
Anyway, people like that would come up and give us classes, and usually at least be a purple belt that
Yeah.
would come up and teach. And so then Claudio came to town, and Claudio saw that there was no black belt here, and I taught there at Chris's for a minute, but you know how business is. People start wanting to do their own thing.
Yeah, of course.
Claudio broke off and went off on his own, and I wanted to study jujitsu, not people, so I went with Claudio.
That's great, man.
I went with Professor Franz. I went with him,
And
and
what year was that?
oh, this was the early part of the '90s, also. Yeah, it wasn't.
Like 95?
Yeah, even before that, because Coalition '95 is when he got his. He talks about the
Right.
boom. But yeah, we were in garages and things in '94, '93, like that. So somewhere
Yeah.
in there, you know, and yeah, and so we trained under him, and it was just I thought it was good. It was a good time to be in jiu-jitsu. It was before it got to be as commercial as it is now,
I
and
know.
and
There's so
yeah,
many pros and cons of that
right.
the culture of that time, right?
So we got trained in a different manner. It wasn't about having 20, 30 people on the mat to train. There'd be 5, 6 of us training like mad.
Like
Um,
mad dogs.
exactly, we trained hard. Um, a lot of people would come to and do our warm-ups and never come back.
Same. When
You
I
know,
was at house, I can't tell you how many people didn't live through those warm-ups.
right,
And just
right,
they were like, okay, this isn't for me.
right.
And I'm
Yeah,
out.
exactly,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
And so we trained. We got to learn jujitsu for the sake of fighting. It was really the focus was the fight, not so much a sport thing or scoring points. It was about fighting and survival, which attracted me big time. Um, that was then.
Yeah.
I try not
No,
to use
that was
negative.
definitely the time. Can you
Yeah.
tell me what like it seems like in my brain, my 1990s, because I started learning with a friend off videotapes probably around like 93, 94, but I
Mhm.
didn't go to house until 97.
Okay.
Um, I felt like in the Bay Area at that time, there was only Claudio França,
Mhm.
Caesar, and Half. Is that accurate?
It's very accurate.
Yeah.
There was some other people throwing up some MMA classes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A few purple belts, a few people coming out of some other systems that I didn't quite understand what they were calling themselves or teaching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Legitimate BJJ was Caesar, Claudio, and House.
Yeah. No, that's
Those
how I
two.
remember it. Um, do because like obviously, Santa Cruz is a beach town. It's very happy go lucky, whatever. But beach towns obviously also have some roughness to them,
Yeah.
or can. I don't know a beach town that doesn't have a little bit of roughness on the edge. Did people used to come in the house sometimes and looking for problems, like saying they didn't think it worked. Did you guys have a lot of that happening out there?
Had a few people that came in and got humbled.
Yeah.
The thing that I liked about our room, you guys were tough. You guys were good. It was tough guys, but in our room, it was the old guys. It was the guys
Right.
that we were all in our 40s, had wrestling backgrounds,
Yeah.
and now we had a couple years of this jujitsu mixed in with it. And people would come into our room, and some guy turning speckly gray would kick your butt, you know. And
Put hands on you.
yeah, we like I said, we had some old tough dudes, man. Um, the my best tournament win was the internationals, and
Okay.
at the internationals when I got there, I had to tell people after winning that my best fight was not at this tournament. My
Mm,
hardest fight was in the room with these other old guys.
killers.
Yeah, that were just rough, man. Daniel Thomas, Garth Taylor,
Mark Taylor was such a
yeah,
relentless
Mike Van.
savage, man. What a run. That dude,
It was rough, right? Exactly.
Garth.
Garth,
Garth was savage.
Garth is, if I had to tell people if Garth had a weakness, it was because he was a legitimate nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
So nice, man.
you know, but if you motivate him, oh man, you gotta go
He
real
was
hard.
train wrecking everybody in those
Yeah,
times.
exactly, exactly.
Train
You
wrecking
know,
dudes, bro.
I tell people I had a couple of days, good sessions with on him, but not too many, not enough
Yeah.
to talk about. you know. Yeah, he was a load, man. I remember I pride myself in sweeping people at one point, right? And I
Yeah.
had these sweeps put together, and I'm nailing everybody with it, and then here comes Garth, and and I go, well, I'm back at the drawing board.
None of these reversals are working right now.
Nothing's
You know
working
what
here,
I'm
man. Matter of fact,
saying?
I need to get out of this guard.
Now, for you, in the trajectory of your jujitsu, what do you think your hardest belt was and why?
um, Purple.
Purple, I believe, is
Yeah.
the hardest belt. That's why I always ask.
hmm
My, why do you think purple is? And I'll tell you why I think it is.
at blue belt, my athleticism was still getting me past a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The mixture of me
Okay, you can
understanding
muscle through some things and make it work.
my strength, my athleticism at blue belt. I was nailing most blue belts, but not even real. Suddenly at purple belt, I'm getting shut down with these chokes that I don't know nothing about. Um, I realized, whoa, and I had to learn to play a tighter game and stop trying to be
Mhm.
so. I had to learn to stop trying to be so athletic and let technique take care,
Yeah.
and lead with technique. And yeah, so I think purple belt was my most learned belt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think that purple belt was because my theory has been that purple belt is hard for everybody. It's usually the hardest belt for a couple of reasons. The first is that because you left blue, you become kind of like a god. I mean, there was a time when if someone was a purple belt in jujitsu, dog,
Right.
they were they were a few steps from heaven, man. Like they were right there.
Right.
Um and I feel like you have this thing where below you everybody admires you, but they want to break that idol. They idolize you, but they want to break that idol.
Target on your back.
The other problem is above you, they know you're getting dangerous and they're not so interested in helping you be
Right.
more dangerous, let alone as dangerous as them.
Right.
So you do have to figure out your own game. I feel like purple is where you have to define yourself as a fighter. Are
Yeah.
you a guard passer? Are you a guard player? Are you know what I mean? What takedowns do you prefer? Like curating your game and imposing it on other people, I think really happens
Right.
at purple.
At purple, I thought at purple I really had to. My wrestling, like I say, my wrestling background took care of me a lot at white.
Mm-hmm.
At purple, I had to really dive into jujitsu and get good at jujitsu and no longer just grappling.
Right, because the wrestling had its own dangers, like the way you shoot a double or you know what I mean, different things like that. Yeah. When you think about your game in its prime, what was it? Who what were they going to experience?
Oh, I was coming out. I was praying for you to pull guard on me, and if you did, I was going to pass, but I was going to also win the takedown.
What pass was yours? What like
Usually I'm standing up in your guard, kind of Hodger Gracie.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
Hodger Gracie. I liked his style.
Yeah.
There's some people that I kind of mimicked a little bit. And you know what? I got to say Claudio Francis because he taught me.
Right. Right.
Excuse me, but if I'm looking for a huge name that's out
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to like have a frame of reference, right?
yeah, right. Hodger Gracie's way of passing a guard didn't seem to. And to be honest with you, even when people started berimbolo rolling and things like that,
Yeah.
those basics always worked for me.
Bro, I was talking with a friend of mine from Heroes, and we were talking, uh, Chris, Chris Wynn. This was years ago, but we were talking about how of course, like there's barimbolos, there's all kinds of crazy cool leg stuff that have kind of evolved, let's say over the last 10 or 15. But like if your fundamentals are good, it's not that those things don't work, but those things are easy to understand if your fundamentals are in play and you can do certain things to just stuff things early, whatever. I totally agree.
We what I see missing in games today, and I think that it's one of the reasons they have problem converting to fighting,
Yeah.
is where's your posture? You're sitting up in the guard. Where is your posture? Why are you laying there like that? That's giving this guy all kinds of
It
attacks.
doesn't even make any sense, dog, what has happened, right? Okay, now, man, man, for some reason in the midst of you talking, it just occurred to me that the Craig Jones Invitational was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Did you watch much of it?
No, I didn't get to watch it. No.
Okay. So I don't know if I'm going to make anybody mad or not, but here's what I'm going to say. First of all, everybody in there is way better than me. That's number one. They're all better than me. Two, they had some incredible matchups on a lot of different levels, okay? But I know everybody is like, no gi's better than the gi, blah, blah. I believe in training both. I don't get caught up. My theory has always been, you don't know what the person who really wants to fight you is wearing.
Right.
And you don't know what you're going to be wearing when that person wants to fight you. So if I get too much into wearing tights all day, I might get caught slipping because it's wintertime and I got a jacket. If all I do is wear the gi and then I catch somebody in the summer and he throws sand in my face, I got to set it off and I can't ask him to put on a jacket, right? But I understand jiu-jitsu is a business and whatever. What I am saying is that a lot of those matches, in my opinion, were not that technical because they became like scrambles for legs, and they would dominate from side, north, south, the mount the least, but they would
Right.
do dominate from north, south, dominate from side, keep going after the legs. And I just felt like everybody I saw, knowing that they know more than me and knowing that they are better than me, I would have liked to see much more positional gaming, much more, it just it wasn't that exciting to me. There were some moments like, oh, he's about to, but
I want to interject a little something here, though. When you say they're better than you, not they don't know more than you. What we're looking at is a superior athlete,
yeah,
and that doesn't convert to your students. That's what some of
that's real.
you're lucky if you got one guy that falls into that category. So you're teaching to a different level of athlete, and that's when technical things become so important because he's not going to become that great athlete overnight, but you can
Right.
make that person highly proficient with good technique.
No, I think you make it. Thank you for pointing that out. That is really real. I mean, especially like at 55, you just know you don't have the same roughness, you know what I'm saying, that you used to. And like even if your brain understands,
Mm-hmm.
the body firing off timing is not, you know what I'm saying? It's not always as whatever.
We're looking at the superior athlete, not the better technical
Yeah.
technician, you know what I mean? And I'm not putting those guys down. They're
No, no,
fighters.
no. I
They're
understand.
fighters, yeah. But the truth is, sometimes I was looking at a tape earlier today where a guy was fighting, and you could see his knowledge of the technique wasn't that deep, you
Right.
know. And I said, "Wow, he didn't spend enough time in class."
You know what I'm saying? Like you can see some of these holes a lot of times, right? Now, what is your opinion on the explosion of no gi? Good for the sport, bad for the sport? Because when I'm watching CJI, I'm saying to myself, like, I'm gonna watch it just because anything can happen. But
Right.
I enjoy watching gi matches because I feel like I learn more watching gi matches than no gi. So I was curious to, how do you feel about the no gi explosion and things like that?
Up your coals and cover them up because they're sparking and the stuff is flying.
Yeah, just take. Oh shit.
You want to go handle? Go handle it.
Let me. I
I'll
got some
talk.
fire
Go
going.
handle it. I swear.
Give me a
I'll
minute.
talk. It's
My
no
man-
problem. See, now that's how you know we dealing with black people on a holiday. You feel me? He's getting ready to go deal with them coals and get that meat popping. You know what I'm saying?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm like,
So what's on the menu? Let's talk about the menu.
we've got ribs and steak.
Ribs and steak. What are you here for? Are you here for the ribs or are you here for the steak?
Steak.
Yeah. Are you going for well done, medium, rare?
Medium rare.
Yeah, see? That's the sweet spot.
Yeah. And I've been keeping our puppy Janie outside, but she's like, it is way too hot out
Like
here.
it's too hot for that.
She's a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
She's got long
All
hair.
that hair.
So we put water in the pool for her.
That's hilarious.
That helped a little bit.
So what are the sides? What are we dealing with sides wise?
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
Yes.
You can never go wrong with corn on the cob.
And I'm making peanut butter cookies.
All right. Peanut butter
But
cookies.
Stan can't eat those.
Oh, man. Hilarious. Hilarious.
Tell Daddy to hurry up. Who is that? Who is that? This is our daughter, too.
Hello, daughter, too.
Here he is. Her name is Alora. There you go.
All right.
He's back.
All right.
Hey, you know you black when you barbecuing in 90-degree weather.
That's what he said.
Right.
Oh. Perfect.
Right.
It's perfect. So, no-gi grappling, I'm a fan of it, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure that what we're seeing in CJI and Abu Dhabi and stuff like that is as positionally like I watch it, but I'm looking to learn, and I don't feel like I don't get to learn as much. What are your thoughts on the current state of like where jiu-jitsu is in terms of the mainstream?
First of all, I want to say that I think, if you're training jiu-jitsu, you need to put the gi on. Some people argue against that.
Yeah.
Some people are pursuing fast food.
Right.
Okay. The learning process in the gi is a little longer, less athletic. More people are going to be able to adjust to a gi game eventually than they are going to be able to adjust to the no-gi game. The no-gi game that's an athletic game.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. The quicker, faster, younger, stronger person is going to win that game. You can learn a lot of jiu-jitsu out of the gi. You're not going to learn all jiu-jitsu out of the gi. That's just all to it. There are techniques that you'll never know if you don't put the gi on.
One of my theories about why gi is, from a learning perspective, superior to no gi, in my opinion, is that because specifically of the jacket, but probably to the pants too, there's so many places to grab that your creative personality gets to express itself more. But when you have no gi, right, it's a wrist, it's a collar tie, it's an ankle, right, whatever. And it's not that it can't be. I mean, look, no gi jiu-jitsu is infinite. Gi jiu-jitsu is infinite. You know what I mean? These things, they go on. But I just think that, I remember the time when dudes who never did no gi would come out of the gi, do a no gi thing and smash.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it still happens where a no gi guy will show up, be like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna come to a gi class one day," and you're just like cross chilled, like, and he feels demoralized. He obviously won't come back, right? But a person in a gi will go roll no gi, get smoked or not, and still enjoy it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of that in there too.
They're always so upset when they come in and shoot a single leg and end up in a loop choke.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I says, well, you would know that if you trained in the gi. You know what I mean? And very often, here's another thing, that the no-gi game has no real promotional values. A guy can come in with a year's worth of training and say he's advanced. Or a guy can come in there with 10 years of training and say he's a beginner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dangerous.
I see that all the time, I'll go to Naga and I'll see kids, doing all sorts of things. And this child's got at least 5-6 years of training. How's he in how's he in a beginner's bracket? And people are like, oh, no, he just, no, that's not athleticism, that's knowledge.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. We're watching how he's pulling it off, right?
Yeah, because you can tell an athletic kid. The kid's just got a lot of moves. He's good. And then you can tell that kid that's got game. He knows what he's doing, And some of these kids I'm looking at have been well coached, but that ain't no beginner.
Yeah. No, it's real. It's real. Now, let me ask you, I have always, because, growing up, I was just a super small, skinny kid nerd. I grew up watching the TV show Kung Fu. I grew up watching Bruce Lee. I grew up, coming from that whole Kung Fu cinema era. You know what I'm saying? Karate Kid, all that. And so I've always thought that Miyagi type guys were going to be your instructors, right?
Mhm.
Then you get into jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu doesn't even have a philosophy like, judo has. Right? So I've always thought that that was kind of like one might say that the biggest hole in Brazilian jiu-jitsu are the takedowns, but I would say that it's the lack of a coherent philosophy. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but as I started to think about that, I started wondering, is the lack of the philosophy in jiu-jitsu, does it open a door to have a philosophy that maybe just suits the individual as
I think
opposed to
that's a
like a
two-sided.
doctrine?
Yeah, it's like a two-sided sword. On one hand, we don't have a philosophy. So I think it's an environment that allows evolution to take place for you to grow. I mean, Helio, when he developed BJJ, he was questioning things. He was
That's
saying,
true.
"Hey, I'm not strong enough for that right there. But
Right.
here's another leverage point I can hit and pull this off." If we weren't open to change, that would have never happened. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? So on one hand, being a jujitsu school with not a lot of rules to have to, hope it's good. But now moving forward, we run into the things where, you got people running here rocking shit like, thug jitsu.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? That's to me, that's an affront. You know what I mean?
You're kind of overdoing it, bro.
Yeah, jitsu. What are you talking about? General art, thug general art? You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, wow, are you nut? So we got a lot of that going on. And for me, it's hard because I got started in martial arts a long time ago. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of rules, maybe written, unwritten, I don't know, but there was a lot you didn't do, you know? Um,
Explain some of this, because I think some of these people who are just showing up now with their fresh acai in a nice styrofoam cup and they got a manicured gi with something
yeah,
cool sewed on the inside, they don't
yeah.
they don't know about this part of the game being as real as it was. And I don't think that they necessarily should have to go through what I went through or what you went through, but I still feel like they should know some more. Please continue.
Back then it was considered a privilege to be taught. So your instructor, he was a god on the mat. I have to say it. You didn't argue. You didn't ask. When he opened up the mat to questions, you could ask a question, but you didn't just start popping up.
Hey,
Yeah, what if? What if? No, none of that took place. If you showed up to class late, you sat on the side until you were asked to join the class.
yeah, yeah. Or
Sat
you were given a separate workout
right. I've sat 10
and you would
minutes.
stay on that until.
That's right. And you had to sit in seiza and sit up paying attention. Um, and it was just respect was everything. You didn't, you had a bad session. Somebody got to you with a good shot. You didn't get to lose your temper and be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice way to get thrown out that class and not be taught. Yeah, self-control was everything. Um,
No.
we didn't walk around with like I got a t-shirt on right now. Back in the day, I would not have worn a t-shirt, right? No, we didn't wear t-shirts. You didn't advertise that you trained. That was supposed to be a family secret, you
Yeah,
know?
that's a really interesting thing. Like I remember when Hal first had t-shirts, there was kind of like this quiet energy around, like you shouldn't wear that shirt if you're not willing to fight though.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that was a very quiet but very real thing.
You might get
I
tried.
remember. I
Yep.
remember there was a guy who will remain nameless, but this is when Target first came to the Bay Area.
Okay.
Target first came to the Bay Area. One of our guys had a shirt on, was in Target, and some dude who wrestled was like, "What? You train with the Gracies? Man, the Gracies suck. What's up?" Da, da, da. And he didn't fight them.
Right.
He came back. He had the conversation because the dude saw, well, how did, because, he had the shirt on. And I
Right.
remember after he left, there were questions like, is it okay that he didn't fight after, like, why are you wearing the shirt? So I remember when I finally got up the nuts to buy a shirt,
Mhm.
It was because I felt like I had trained enough. If someone, you know what I mean, I got enough so that if it
Mhm.
goes wrong, I can squab in the name of the school. But like, you couldn't just. I remember when tap out was new. Remember when tap out was new,
Yes, I knew Charlie. Yeah.
right? And you would be like, people would be wearing a tap out
Right.
shirt. You'd be like, hey, so where do you train? Train?
Right. Yeah.
You're like,
Right.
you wearing a tap out shirt and you don't
Right.
even know how to fight, bro?
Right.
That
Yeah.
was
It got
insane.
to be if they had a shirt on, you didn't even believe them. Right. Yeah, I remember that era. Exactly.
No.
Yeah, we a lot of dojo blitzing. People would show up back then wanting to fight. We'd fight them, lock the door and fight.
Yeah, bro.
Um, yeah, I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu proved itself. It,
Totally.
it proved itself. You got some people today talking, and I go, look, I was there in the '90s. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu proved itself. You know what I mean? Against everybody, wrestlers, all of it. You know what I mean? Boxers, everybody.
Yeah,
Now,
man.
people kind of know it a little bit, and so they, like your wrestlers, they try to act
Right.
like they what they counter jujitsu with isn't jujitsu. It's jujitsu, buddy. Okay, you learn the counter, and you're a grappler, so it's effective. But that what you're countering with is jujitsu.
It's jujitsu, yeah.
Right.
That I used to always note that during the 2000s is that you had wrestlers who seemed like they admired jujitsu, but they hated it. And so they were more anti-jujitsu than like pro wrestling. I don't mean pro, like
Yeah.
pro wrestling. And
Mhm.
so, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is that, Tryon is such a cool school. You have so many cool students. Talk to me about your belief of how, like, you get a guy, he comes in, it's today, it's day one. Like, talk to me about your method of teaching and talk to me about the things that are a priority in your mind to give to a white belt.
His first day on my mat, I'm assessing who he is. What do I got here? Do I have a live wire? I got somebody passive who wants to come along real slow. Um, yeah, I'm kind of looking at who he is, what's in his heart. Um,
Mm,
then as you start teaching technique, you start looking at how's he dealing with his defeats. You know what I mean? He just rolled with a girl just tapped him. You know,
that's a big deal.
yeah, how's he handling that? Because if there's a bad person in there, very often it'll come out negative right there. The good guy will get up and go, damn, she's good.
That was crazy. I've never been. Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. How'd you do that? That's what a good
yeah.
guy says. You get the asshole, he comes up, excuse me, I shouldn't be using
No,
words.
it's fine. I curse on here all the
Uh,
time. No worries.
okay. But you get that person, he's got every excuse in the book why she tapped him. Well, I didn't go that hard because she was this, and I
I
didn't,
didn't want to hurt her, bro.
yeah, bro, but shut up, man. And so then I know who he is, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Not that I don't throw him out to school,
I
but
know
I've
what you mean.
assessed, what kind of person he is and kind of know what we, do. The ones that I don't particularly care for, the guys that walk through the door with, hey man, how long is it going to take me to be a blue belt?
Right.
We'll sell you one right now. you know, it ain't gonna mean nothing.
Yeah, how you gonna function, homie? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly. Those guys. I also got the guys that walk. You get in every now and then. They're usually half nuts. They want to be an MMA fighter,
Oh my God.
and right, you're looking at them like, what makes you think you want to be an MMA fighter? And
And how you just starting right now, bro?
right, and they 35. 35, no wrestling background, no judo background, no jujitsu background, no boxing
Boxing,
background. Didn't even ain't even had a good fight in their life, you
bro.
know. But they want to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah, it blows my mind. That stuff
Yeah,
does blow my mind.
yeah. So I decided, I'm like, hey man, look, you get them on the mat, and I used to, and when I was in my 50s, I'd roll with these guys and tap them, and then let them know I was 50 something back then.
Right?
Not so much today. I done aged out of that too, but but you tap the guy and then let him know. Says, hey man, I'm 50 years old and you ain't warming me up.
Yeah. So what's up?
Right.
There's a lot of growth. A lot of
Right.
growth, player.
A lot of that. I and then here's another guy that can sometimes get on you. You get the guy who comes in, he's got a lot of natural talent. It's obvious. It's there. He's got a lot of natural talent. Um, he has got some goals. He wants to maybe be an MMA fighter or whatever. And you put him in a regular jiu-jitsu tournament and he quits. Hey, coach, I'm tired. I ain't got nothing like. Then don't talk to me about MMA. You know what I mean?
Man.
If you can't get through this jiu-jitsu match, then no, you know. So I've walked away some guys where I just said, you know, no, you know, and they're welcome to play jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Don't tell me you want to be an
But
MMA.
don't act like you have higher aspirations.
Right,
Don't
exactly.
pretend like that you have, bigger
You know,
goals.
there ain't a whole lot of money in it, no way, and
Right?
you're wasting my time. You know?
Yeah. No, that's real, dude. That's
So
real.
yeah, you know, you get so many of them nowadays, and you got the guys they think that they go take some steroids and get on some gear that they tough guys. No, you're not. You're just a big strong buffoon.
Hey, you just brought up something I wanted to ask you. So they had a footage, I think it was a week or two ago. There were some guys, I think, at an in-house tournament where one guy totally ripped the leg of the other guy. Have you seen this?
Didn't see the footage, but
So yeah, so it's these two guys, and then one guy really rips the leg off the other guy.
right,
And it was an in-house tournament. So like that was technically a teammate.
right, yeah,
Like,
silly.
I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I think there's this thing now where everybody's trying to do the cool upside down footlock
Right,
film, thinking
right,
that they'll get the invite to Abu Dhabi so that
right,
they can be the next Gordon. And I'm like, bro, that guy has a family and kids, bro. You just made it so he can't work. Like you know what I'm saying? Let alone train. Like what's going on? Like, um,
mhm,
I think that sometimes, and I don't want to sound like an old fuddy-duddy in my day or whatever, but it just feels like people don't have their why figured out.
right,
Like,
right.
why am I actually here? Sometimes because their dad used to beat them up. Sometimes it's like because they
Yeah,
got beat up with their lady at the movies and like they never fixed that. So that's
yeah.
why they're spazzy and stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
I think that's a really big problem in as jujitsu goes more mainstream,
Mhm.
like people are coming in for fame, trying to get famous on something that's really dangerous
Right,
and
right.
hard to do. You
Extremely hard to
know what I
do.
mean? And it's like just like you rip some guy's leg off, bro. Someone could be coming for your leg in the very next tournament just because they saw that clip, dog.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, in our dojo, if I see a guy like pick up a heel hook like that, and he's rolling with somebody who has no idea how to defend it and get out of it, I am screaming at him. You know,
Yeah,
you better not slap that heel hook on him. That
yeah,
until
no,
he's ready to defend it, I don't want it applied.
yeah, man. You
And
know,
but some instructors just aren't. They're not responsible folks. You know, they'll allow their students to do whatever, or they'll let that one or you got a dojo of say, I don't know, 50, 60 people,
yeah,
and you got one or two studs.
right.
Now I don't think those studs get the right to wreck everybody else at the dojo. You know what I mean? Yes, your skill level is a lot higher. You're a lot stronger. But you know, I can't have you heel hooking my students left and right, knee
Yeah,
operation here, knee operation over there. You
yeah,
know, there are places you can do that. Okay, well, I'll hook you up with some folks, and we'll, you know,
yeah.
to where you can go ahead and apply everything all out. But on a daily basis in this dojo, you have to be responsible.
Gotta chill and you gotta, I've been telling the kids, but it also applies to the men and the women, the adults, right? Is that, I was telling kids the other week in a kids class, I said, I want you to think about how rolling with you, if you're the last person they roll with in the day, how are you leaving people feeling? How do they feel about themselves after rolling with you?
Yeah.
Whether you won or lost, how are they feeling about themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Because you should want them to leave with the same feeling you hope to leave with, right?
Exactly.
You want to be happy, you want to be upbeat, you want to feel like you got tested, you want to, right? But you don't want to feel like, hey, this guy's really trying to beat me up. Hey,
Right.
I'm horrible. I'm not good at this. I should quit. Like those aren't the kind of things that you want people to feel. I don't think enough of the Johnny come latelys, and it's not their fault. People learn about it when they learn about it. People are born at different times, but I feel like there needs to be like a more work on a purified intention,
Yeah.
right? On that stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
here's a question for you, because it's an ever evolving reality, and we've all had different standards at different times. and jiu-jitsu is so subjective and schools are so different. My question to you is, what is a blue belt? How do you know?
Blue belt's a guy who's learned to basically pass a guard. Um, uh, has maybe 1, 2 sweeps that he's fairly proficient at. Um, knows some basic chokes from the back, cross choke across, of course.
Yeah.
Um, still maybe operating on a physical basis a little too much,
Mm-hmm.
being athletic with his technique because he or she can. Um, yeah, that's a blue belt. They haven't figured out the sweet science yet.
No, definitely not. What submissions should they know? And
Uh,
are there any escapes they should know?
oh yeah, definitely resetting your guard at blue belt, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. You really got to do that. Resetting your guard. Um, basic, Mapleon,
Yeah.
cross chokes. Um, what are the chokes? Anything from side control, like
Yeah.
lawnmower.
Right.
Those step paper cutters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
like that. What's wonderful? I can say these things, and you know what I'm talking about. You see, that's how you check people when they say they trained and they don't see they don't know this
You be
verb.
like lawnmowers, paper cutter. People like, mm-hmm. Like,
Right, right. Yeah,
no, no, like,
exactly. Yeah, a blue belt. That's what I expect a blue belt to do. Now, here's something I believe.
hmm.
At the level of blue belt, you're already taught everything that you need to have to win the worlds.
Mm.
In the blue belt, if you learn to execute that blue belt technique with high proficiency, you've got what you need to go all the way to the top.
Man, that's crazy because I totally believe it and agree with you. And I remember years ago, Mario Sperry used to have these really cool VHS tapes he put out. And one
Um,
particular one is where he would grab the belt and it was a guard pass and he would push the belt up your rib cage, like all try to
right,
push it into your armpits, right? And he would scoot back and he'd kind of bail. And he said he started doing that at blue belt. And he's like, and I did it my whole right. And I
right,
remember being like, oh, so you could like take a move and ride that wave like your whole journey. You know what I mean? And like that's a real thing.
yeah.
I mean,
Got
that
a
is,
lot of respect for Mario Sperry. Those are the guys I said they took their jujitsu, but they were fighters.
bro.
They were fighters. They weren't necessarily, tournament wonders. These guys
Exactly.
fight.
You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
I like Carlson Gracie's team a lot back in the day because Carlson advocated them learning how to box once they were brown
He
belts.
was all about the hands, bro,
Right.
before you even
Realized you
got to
had
the
to learn
grappling.
how to
Like
box.
bing bonk boom, and
Right.
then
And
you know
that's
what
why
I'm saying?
he had Murillo Bustamante, Spurry, uh,
Dude,
Carlos Barreto. Uh,
yeah.
everybody in that camp was a badass.
Conan. Remember Conan?
Oh, Conan, right,
Yeah.
right. You know, even the guys that weren't say top tier were badasses.
I mean, they were definitely dangerous, bro.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And then somehow we got away from that era. That was the jujitsu I liked.
yeah,
And
yeah, that was a great time, bro.
yeah, now we got people sitting on their butt, scooting up on each other, and I'm just kind of like, okay, to the point like when I get my friends out of judo or wrestling and stuff, they talk about it. I can't even defend it.
Right?
I just say, man, it's something that evolved in our art that I can't put my finger on how or why this got started. Some, nonsense. I go, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why none of these guys that play those kind of games are converting to fighters. You know,
That's the interesting thing, right? Is like they're staying in this like wheelhouse
right?
where it's like to some degree, I don't think that a lot of no gi people have thought about the unrealistic elements in no gi
Hmm.
because they're not getting slapped,
Right, right.
right?
We're getting punched in the face.
Like, bro, like you can't do that stuff all the time. That's not to say leg locks, heel hooks, all that stuff doesn't work. I'm not even questioning it as a technique. But what I'm saying is that a lot of the entries and stuff that people are using are meant for non-fighting scenarios.
Right.
I was recently asked about um how I if I'm doing an armbar from the closed guard, put my foot on the hip, pivot, throw the leg over the face, but I'm always hooking the near leg because I
Right.
don't want to get slammed.
Right.
So
Exactly.
someone said, well, someone told me that to do that is wrong because what you can do is reach not for the near leg, but for the far leg, and you can kind of come up and kind of do like a belly down kind of armbar, right? So I said, well, then they said that I was doing it wrong because the person was doing what I had said, hooking that first knee. And I said,
Right.
well, I don't think they said, well, are you wrong or are they wrong? And I said, I don't think that it's an issue of wrong. I think it's an issue of rule set and intention.
Right. Right.
So I said, I come from the early Ralph Gracie days where you just weren't expected to do stuff in a gi. It might be no gi, it might be in a cage, it might be on the street, and you were expected to have a mind that could reacclimate to whatever. I said,
Right.
when I pivot and I'm throwing that fundamental closed guard armbar, I'm hooking that leg because I'm thinking about not getting slammed.
Right.
Right. I don't want to get picked up. I said, that's why all these dudes all on TikTok getting picked up and slammed all day because they never learned how to hook the leg. I said, now you're talking about reaching to the far leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
We already agree by title is called far. It's the far leg, right?
Right.
I don't want to grab the far leg. I want to grab the near leg. I said, but if I were to reach for the far leg, it would only be because there was no striking and we were on mats.
Right.
Because to do that, and maneuver and invert under them by reaching for that far leg, I'm risking all kinds of facial scrapes, punches,
Yeah.
knees, elbows. I said, and those are everything that I'm trying to prevent
Right.
grabbing the near. And so I think a lot of times no gi is losing its context.
And
And
then by hooking that leg, you got a sweep right there.
right, as
With
soon
it.
as the armbar has any problems, blow, flower, what's up?
There. But like I said, they get pieces of our art.
Yeah.
We're learning great detail. Now that's covered up with a lot of athleticism. They already had one guy who's so athletic that you catch hell with him, but the other 8 guys ain't that good applying the same damn technique because of the lack of athleticism. Jiu-jitsu is built for the mediums, for the average human being. It's not structured for the extreme athlete. I mean, that extreme athlete can use it and apply it. Don't get me wrong. But life is lived in the mediums.
Yeah.
If I go out here in the streets today, the odds of me running into a UFC fighter are very slim.
Very.
So the truth is, my jiu-jitsu is going to be affected.
Yeah.
I mean, we sometimes we want to apply what we do to these exceptions.
Right.
Exceptions. That's not the norm. The normal guy who thinks he's tough gets tooled by our.
Quickly though.
Yeah.
And decisively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're not wondering, oh, he kind of got him. He was kind of, no, bro.
Right.
He just grabbed that dude and it got crazy. Like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me ask you this. So we talked about purple belt earlier. What is a brown belt?
Brown belt is a dangerous ass person. And let me tell you something. I worry more about a brown belt than I do a black belt. Brown belt is hungry.
Yeah.
He's hungry. He's training.
He knows he's close to the end of the road.
Yeah. I find brown belts to be dangerous. Brown belts, they're looking for that black belt game. They're in the dojo every day. They're trying to get themselves ready to put that black belt on. They haven't become arrogant yet with their training.
That's true.
So they're, I tell people I take no brown belt lightly at all.
No, sir. Agreed. Agreed.
Give me that old lazy black belt.
Yeah, please.
who ain't really training that hard no more.
So here's a question for you. I try to get these from everybody, and sometimes I forget to ask. Can you tell me about the day you got your black belt? And did you expect it that day?
Well, yeah, I had gotten some notice that I was getting my black belt. I had won the internationals in Brazil, and be honest with you, nobody scored on me down there.
How did that feel?
Felt great. I went down there and I fought, and I had a great day. And but when I got my black belt, it was heavy. It was heavy. I was happy. Long road getting there, long tough road. getting
Yeah.
there. You know, we don't give away belts in jiu-jitsu,
Woo!
you know. And it was my most honored belt. You know, I was ranked in other arts. And when I first got my first blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I took the other belts off the shelf and put my blue belt up there.
Really?
Yeah,
Because you were like,
to me,
I
that
have
blue belt,
arrived.
yeah, that
Right.
blue belt back in the day was a tougher goal and meant more to me than a brown belt or another black belt in other arts.
Man, because it's such a fight to get there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I had sweat a lot and bled a lot, you know.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I honored that. And the black belt was wow, you know. Um, you know, something too, I in the fires, we had the fires up here in the Santa Cruz Mountains and lost my house, and every trophy, medal I ever had got burnt up, everything, t-shirts, everything
How
gone.
did you deal with that emotionally?
Um, you know, all the medals and trophies that I ever had, they're in my heart.
Mm,
So when I lost the physical trophy or medal, I realized, you know, at first I was like, oh man, I'll never get that back. And then I thought about it. I says, you ain't lost it, man. It's still
right. It's never actually getting taken.
nobody can take that. You know,
Yeah,
the win is your win. Nobody can take that. So yeah.
that's
Um,
beautiful.
so I tell guys, it ain't the medal.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yep.
So when you got your belt, you were kind of expecting it, and what was the day after like? Were you like, damn, I'm a black belt, or were you like,
Yeah. Yeah. The first day you walk onto the mat and got a black belt around your waist, it's you realize you're in a different category or something. It's a little weird, you know, a little weird in the stuff. And but like I tell my students that tell me that they are a little afraid of the next rank. I told them you're going to grow into it. I tell them
it's
put it
true?
on. You know it's time for you to wear it, but you're going to grow into it, and you're going to get comfortable with it.
No, it's always true, that is the case, because you have to, and the journey the journey demands the growth. It
Yep,
just does.
exactly.
It demands the growth. When you think about books that have influenced your character and the way that you teach, uh, what are some of those books? Or maybe there are no books, maybe there are people, right? Like obviously Claudio Franza has had such an instrumental role in how you see jujitsu itself, how you teach it, how you do anything. But I'm curious as to some of the people that you would say, these people, authors, other fighters, whatever, how do they influence how you think about?
Um, First, I want to give props to my instructor Claudio Franza.
Yeah.
Um, he taught us basic, solid jujitsu. And to be honest with you, there was a time I was a little critical of it because I thought I was getting taught the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Today, as an instructor myself, I realized Claudio was teaching me exactly how I should be taught. Uh,
Hmm.
it wasn't the newest and the greatest. Let's get good at what we know. Let's hardwire those basics. Let's do it again and again. Grandmaster, oh God, I can't call his name. Uh, oh shit,
Mansoor?
Mansoor, Grandmaster Mansoor used to say, "Stand, you get the technique, and then you have to master it. And you master it by hepita, hepita, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
Hepita, hepita, hepita. And then he would look at somebody and what? Hepita, right? Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. And then he explained that, you know, you teach a man to throw a jab.
yeah.
Not like next year you're teaching them to throw a different kind of jab. You still teaching them to throw that same
The jab.
jab over and over and over and over and over again. Repeat it to the point where you don't think it, you do it.
It's real.
You
No,
know?
man. I think, I've been trying to explain, I've been telling my students, I say, listen, I know sometimes I show you something and then I show you it again.
Right.
I said, but like at the end of the day, this is an art of monotony,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're gonna do that armbar again, and you're
Right.
gonna do that armbar again, and somebody's gonna climb on top of you again, and they're gonna
Right.
climb on top of you again. I said
Right.
it like you have to get okay with the monotony so that you can learn the mechanics of the move. You
Mhm.
learn the mechanics of the move. You get used to that monotony. You get down to the spirit of the move.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you're able to merge those two,
Mhm.
now you can start to grow and advance and do all this other stuff. But
And the
without that
variations come.
monotony,
That's right. You don't even have to teach the variations. They'll find those variations,
it's true, bro.
you know? So yeah, that's our art. It's a wonderful art, you know.
No,
Um,
man, that's really powerful.
yep.
Now, but wait though, books, authors, were you
Books.
a like
Yeah,
like
I've read quite a few. I've read the Chinese classics on war.
yeah,
Um, I've read the Book of Five Rings,
yeah,
the Book of
Musashi.
Solomon. Read that, of course. You know, I think every martial artist should read those things.
Absolutely.
Um, I enjoyed Saulo Ribero's book.
So good.
Saulo Ribero's approach to jiu-jitsu, I think, is extremely sound
Yeah.
for the everyday guy as well as the extreme athlete.
Yeah.
Uh, who's I'm thinking uh, Higan Machado put out a book on the triangle.
Did he really? What?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's back in print. I had an original that burnt up. It when I tried to look into it, they were up around $150. It was a book that went up in value.
Bro, can I tell you? I used to have, did you ever have Vladimir Putin's judo book?
No, no, I didn't have his judo book. No,
Bro,
it was
it
good.
was off the chain. I think it goes for like $200, $300 now. I
Right.
lost it in the divorce.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I enjoyed that book, those books. I know this. Let me think. I read Anderson Silva's book.
Was that good?
It was good. It was good. Yeah. Very good. You know, he's got the perfect situation in his style for MMA.
Yeah.
I mean, I really believe his style was really good for MMA. You know, like everybody, you only got so many fights left in you,
Come on, bro.
and he fought past that point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
Yeah, you know, it happens to everybody. You know, BJ tried to come back and found out, no, you're too old, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fast-paced game, and you
That
don't
is.
need to be that off at the highest levels to just not be,
Oh,
you know what I mean? You don't need, you know what I mean? You just it's
right,
a little, it's a few milliseconds on the timing. It's a,
right,
you know, half of a second in the reaction, and man,
right.
it's over.
Yep. I heard I think it was Francis Farley said when he knew it was time to retire, he said he saw the punch. He just didn't get out the way of it. You know what I mean? Where years ago
It's right there.
he'd slipped, he'd have rolled. He
Yeah,
said
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was hit before he reacted, and then he realized it was time to give it up. You know, uh,
Man,
slow down. Yeah, that's it. You know, I call the mat and the ring. It's the truth. You know, I said when you walk out there, the truth is going to take place. You know, I had to tell a kid that who took an MMA fight years ago, and I had told him not to take the fight
mm,
because he hadn't started his training 3 weeks out. I said you shouldn't fight. He went on and fought. You know, and I told him, says your preparation was piss poor, son. You know what I mean? You know, when you walk in that ring, it's the truth. You
come
see,
on, man.
you ain't gonna go in there and bullshit your way through it. You ain't gonna go in that ring and be able to like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna look good for a couple. No, you're gonna get hurt in there. You know what I mean?
For
So
real.
you're gonna realize you're not prepared. The fight is real. The guy's trying to hurt you, and while you was out partying, he was training.
Totally. No, it's real, man. It's totally real.
You know.
Um, before we go,
Mhm.
I find you to be very inspirational.
Thank you.
And a lot of times your inspiration isn't in like a, I hope this doesn't sound corny. It's not in a formal way. A lot of it is just in the way you carry yourself and the way I see you move at jujitsu tournaments and things like that. And it's very, it's very cool. And I wish more people had it, but you are you and you are unique. For someone who is struggling right now, middle-aged white belt, blue belt, purple belt, freshly injured brown belt, and maybe they're having a tough time in their training, like what would you say to them right now to help keep them inspired to return to the mats?
Patience. Take care of yourself. This journey is your journey. It's what you make it. Quitting, anybody can do that. um, it requires you, this journey requires you to eat the right things. It requires you to not overdrink. It requires you to have some sort of spiritual base, whatever that is, in the way of just, when things get tough, you can look at something and go, okay, God, I need a little hand here, Yeah, I see a lot of people come to jujitsu, and jujitsu basically gives them back their life. You know, I got a couple students, man, that my proudest moments are not winning a jujitsu tournament. My proudest moments are some people that I've seen jujitsu give them a good life, give them they were kind of headed down the wrong paths. They were doing bad shit. And suddenly they come into the dojo and they're training every day, and their entire perspective is changing. What's a tough guy? What's real in life? And and here, 10 years later, you got a good black belt standing here talking about, his family and all of that. I've had some couple guys that have really turned their life around with jujitsu. Came to me with a bracelet around their neck, around their ankle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about turned their lives around.
Like really changed up, man. No, that's real, man. No,
And they
that's
balling today. They balling. I don't want to go into names and things.
no, I hear you. No, it's beautiful, bro. And I mean, it's a
Good.
real part of it. And
Yep.
that's the things that it's hard to convey what that feels like to people who aren't lucky enough to stay around long enough and just experience it. You know what I mean? Because they quit or whatever. Here's something interesting. I was talking with a friend, and we were talking about a black belt that we both know. He says, "You know what's interesting about this person?" And I was like, "What?" They said, "This person's never injured." I said, "What?" They're like, "I've known him since white belt. Never seen him injured. Not a shoulder, not a knee, not a back, not a
Right.
neck. Man, my back is wrecked right now. I wrecked it yesterday doing nothing. I was reaching for a sandwich. Oh,
Yeah,
oh
that's
no.
it. That's it.
I
Right.
was at the Thai massage early this morning trying to get it figured out. It's
Right.
not 100.
Yeah.
Like, I started wondering, and I want to ask you, like, of course, our black belts, any black belt in jiu-jitsu, they got it because they work hard and all this other stuff. But it started to make me wonder, outside of the skill acquisition and outside of the discipline, is our ability to be a black belt, how much of our ability to be a black belt is predicated upon the reality that we didn't take a catastrophic injury and other people did? Like, I think about how many people just
No, right.
with sick ass blue belts, sick
Right.
ass purple belts, almost brown belts, and
Right.
then like
Yeah.
that
There's
that
a
that that is kind of a quieter blessing. Not to say that we don't have skills, don't have knowledge, don't have discipline, whatever,
right.
but a lot of times this guy's knee just blew up and her
Right.
shoulder popped out. So
Yeah, there is an element of survivability. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We survive. We're survivors
yeah.
of a tough environment. We're survivors. And that's the thing. There's a confidence you get after you've been in jiu-jitsu 10 years, where someone's threatening you. You kind of like, dude, it's kind of how I play.
Yeah.
uh, I don't think that's a good move for you, and that's just it. Yeah, it's a wonderful art, man. A wonderful art. I you know, I used to teach at the police academy, the sheriff's academy in
Mhm,
down in South Bay, and
mhm.
at 60, I was able to still control guys on the ground
Yeah.
and Sean, and it was really my knowledge of jujitsu, you know. And
It's unbelievable.
they kind of were in awe of me a little bit because I was at 60 years old, able to do this. And
Yeah,
tell them it was jiu-jitsu, understanding jiu-jitsu, you know.
bro. It's such a beautiful thing, man.
Yep.
Thank you, Stan, for
Yeah.
the contributions to Jiu-Jitsu in the Bay. Thank
Mhm.
you for sharing your wisdom on Bishop Chronicles today. Uh, for people who want to get a hold of you, for people who want a seminar or just to learn or come train, like where should they go?
Trying jiu-jitsu. We're just look up Trying Jiu-Jitsu. We're there. Not trying. Now, let you know a little bit about our school. We're a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't take a dime for martial arts.
Wow.
Yeah, I have my retirement, and I'm okay financially. I don't take a dime. This is all for my heart. You know, I go see my students. I go to tournaments. You know, I don't make a dime at it. You know, I like the fact that our school is nonprofit. It
Yeah.
allows us to allow people to train who are in bad situations and things like that.
Right.
And we also have 3 other locations that are they're regular schools, but that's
Okay.
one's in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Triangle, Texas is doing outstanding.
What city?
Out by Hewitt,
Okay.
near Waco.
Okay, near Waco. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that area was hungry for jujitsu because
There's jujitsu's blowing up in Texas, just all over, bro. It's
yeah,
crazy. I
my
thought it
student,
was just Austin. It's everywhere. It's
right,
Dallas,
right. My
Houston.
student set up a school there, and man, he had students like
Yeah.
overnight.
No, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. No, that's
Mhm.
beautiful, man.
And you know, if people are looking for a nice, healthy environment to train where nobody set out to kill you right off the bat or pull something
Mhm.
on you, come to Triune. I've got folks that are good fighters. I got folks that can't fight their way out of wet paper sack. But they're all welcome to the mat, you know.
Man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, they're all welcome to the mat. I love the kids.
Yeah.
Had my heart ripped out. You know, once you taught kids class for say over 10, 15, 20 years, those kids have grown up. You're up,
Yeah.
grown up. And we lost 2 of them this year to deaths, and man, it ripped my
So
heart.
sorry.
You know,
I'm so sorry.
it still bothers me.
Yeah, no, I understand, man. That's
Yeah.
never a good thing, man. It's never a good thing.
But like I tell other instructors, guys, listen, we're not developing MMA fighters. We're developing good citizens in the world.
Yeah,
That's what,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
Not too many guys in your stable are ever going to go on to be professional fighters,
You
but
know
there's
what I
a
mean?
lot of people in the world.
Yeah, be great citizens, be great business leaders, be great,
Right.
parents,
Right.
politicians,
Yep.
whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's beautiful, man. Well, thank you so much, Stan. Have a beautiful rest of your holiday, and thank you for making time. All right.
Hey, thank you. Like I said, it was an honor. Guys, keep training. Love your jujitsu. Respect your instructors. Too much
Yeah, do that.
respect your instructors. That's who got you started. You wouldn't be great without your base.
It's true. It's
You know?
true. All
Right.
right, you guys, hit us up in the comments. Please share this. Appreciate you.
Thank
Peace.
you. Thank you.